Hi everyone, welcome back to NRC Q&A. I'm Angelica with National Research Center, and today I'm with Tom, who is the president of National Research Center. Thanks for coming today.
Glad to be here.
Excellent. So a lot of people in this special time of a new year, it's 2017, and so a lot of our clients are starting to ask the question, how can you use opinion data from their citizen surveys in the experimentation process?
That's a great question. And I think one of the things people have to remember is the only reason we're doing experimentation to begin with is because we want to improve the quality of life of communities. These days, it's so weird that the world has changed and now we're back to the era of the hippies as far as I'm concerned, such that everything is about question authority. So when you say experimentation, the thing I first think about is, well, we have all best practices, don't we? Why don't we just do the best practices?
Okay.
And the answer is because best practices, even though they've been described and studied and researched by academics and others out in the field, they're best for certain periods of time and for certain places, but they may not be best for your community or this period of time. So it's very good for you as a manager, say, to be thinking about how to test new policies and programs. So this is where experimentation is very important. And bringing in the voice of the public is extremely important because with experimentation, you're back again to quality of community life. The bottom line in the quality of community life is what people think about their communities. So just as an example, the first thing you want to do if you're going to be experimenting and using community resident opinion is to get a baseline of residents' perspectives about the community. The baseline gives you the first sense of here's where we are now before we start this experiment.
Right.
Experiments can be about a whole bunch of different topics, policies, programs, personnel, and when you do an experiment, just as an example, you might want to lay out a new program. And let's say your new program is to have a one-way street in the downtown because you think a one-way street's going to improve access and improve sense of safety in the downtown.
But
so
you're not sure if it's actually going to be that beneficial.
Exactly, and it could be something else that's affecting people's perspectives about the community's central business district. So you do the experiment about downtown, you do a one-way street, and then you ask people what they think about their sense of safety in the downtown. You will then be able to compare how your experiment has had an impact on people's perspectives. Another thing to do is try something new in a different part of town. So you don't roll out something like you would a one-way street, which you do for everybody. You have in one part of town a particular program. For example, you might have a single stream recycling program in 2 or 3 different neighborhoods.
Okay.
You can then ask people what they think about the recycling program and the garbage pickup and compare that to how they felt about those aspects of their community life before.
So then would you be comparing what people thought in one particular area versus another particular area?
Perfect point. Not only would you be comparing this area that has the experiment over time, but you can compare over time the other parts of the community that haven't had this experiment.
Oh, okay.
It's a very solid way of getting some very good evidence about whether, for example, single stream recycling is going to work in your community. Then you might want to try something that allows you to compare your community to the benchmark. A benchmark is resident opinion that you have gathered or that has been gathered for you in the case of National Research Center, and excuse me, getting over a cold. National Research Center has gathered benchmark data from hundreds of thousands of resident opinions all across the country. Those could be made available so you could say, let's take a look at what happens if we try something different and compare our results to what is the case across the country. We might try to do a crackdown on neighborhood speeding. A lot of folks are worried about the speed of traffic in their neighborhood. You can have a crackdown for a period of time, look at what residents think about their overall sense of safety in walking in their community, in their neighborhood, sense of ease of travel by bike and by walking and even by car after you do the crackdown. Compare that to the benchmark and see where you sit. I think really the whole idea about experimentation, which I'm glad you asked about, is an opportunity for local governments to indicate to their residents that they are actually humble. They're willing to listen, and they are not that arrogant institution that too many people ascribe to their local government. So I hope others will give this a try, and experimentation with resident opinion is the way to go.
And then another question, just to go about one more thing to go on that, is once you have that information and you've learned what works out for you and what doesn't, do you think that those governments should also pay it forward and share that information with others, or?
Well, that's a great point, because the whole idea about having the information you learn available to others is something that you really do need to offer, and that can be done through great social media work of the kind that you and your colleagues do at National Research Center.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter.
I'll be there.
Yes, yes you will. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
And come back next time and we will answer another question.